On today's episode, Dad screws up the hashtag.
It is the hashtag game day celebration. No, it's not.
He drops stuff.
Man down. We'll get that later.
And he's still a mumble mouth.
Her and my mama. Mumble mouth.
Who got this? Dad got this.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dad Got This. We're back in the kitchen today, and today's a special video. Today is a collaboration with a bunch of my YouTube friends, and today it's the hashtag game day buffet. We're supposed to make a game day dish. What does it mean to eat game day food for you? Dad's thought was hot dogs. Everybody loves hot dogs on game day, but hot dogs are boring. So Dad went old school. Dad went to his grandfather's recipe. That's right, we're cooking old school Italian food, but it's not really Italian food. Hang in there. Dad's grandparents came on the boat from Italy, Avellino, Italy to be exact. And they moved and settled into Newark, New Jersey. And that's where they lived. And my grandfather didn't do much of the cooking, but he cooked one dish that I remember as a kid: potatoes and eggs and hot dogs. It was something to do with this hot dog place he said was in Newark called Dickie Dee's. And he made this potatoes and eggs and hot dogs, and he put it on a soft roll or like a sub roll. And it was the most fantastic food in the world to me as a kid. My grandfather, he's actually here on this book. That's him right there. Everybody called him Sammy Jiggs. And this was Sammy Jiggs, potatoes and eggs and hot dogs. Let's get cooking. What do you need for this dish? Pretty simple. We need about 6 eggs, 5 potatoes, a white onion, hot dogs, and some spices. First thing we'll do is we are gonna go ahead and peel some potatoes. Very boring, but needs to be done. I've gone over this before in one of my other videos, like, was peeling potatoes a legitimate punishment for GIs in the Army? Did you get in trouble, and did they make you peel potatoes? I never got an answer. Nobody answered me. So if anyone knows in the comments, please comment, let me know. But it doesn't take much time. I'll probably do one of those fast forward, sped up video things right about here. Potatoes are done. Easy. I like to rinse my potatoes after I peel them. I just feel like if you do that when they're like wet after you rinse them, if you don't dry them, then they're a little slippery when you're doing the peel. So this is my little, what I do to potatoes. I like to rinse them then. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pre-mix our egg mixture. I'm jumping around. Oh well. We're gonna make our egg mixture. We'll set these aside. And the egg mixture is really simple. I'll put all the ingredients down in the description below with the exact amounts. But you got 6 eggs and some spices. In here is salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of just regular old Kraft grated cheese, the stuff in the green container. You don't need to use the good stuff. Crack your eggs. That's not good. Never had one do that. I wonder if that caught on camera. All right, with your eggs cracked, take all your spices, mix them in. And just give them a good beat. And then you're gonna set this aside because this is actually the last step in the dish. This is a super simple dish, guys. This is sometimes done for breakfast for us. We would do it without the rolls and we'd just eat potatoes and eggs and hot dogs. You can omit the hot dogs if you don't like hot dogs. Some people don't. So you can make this as just potatoes and eggs. I don't know if this is a specifically Italian dish or what, but this was my grandfather's dish. This was the only dish that I ever remember him cooking. My grandmother cooked everything else. So, and she's the one who taught me how to cook. My mama. Mumble mouth. All right. Once you've got that nice and whipped up, we're done with those, we're done with that. We'll set these aside. It's time to chop up some potatoes and onions. And Dad's gonna do his cutting board trick. This is my little hack, dad hack. Number, can't remember. I made a video for it and a number for it, but I just make up the numbers, so. You get a wet paper, mumble mouth number 2. You get a wet paper towel, squeeze it out, pop it down on the counter. Now, you can take your cutting board, place it on top of it, and you got a stable cutting surface. Stable cutting surface, very important. Don't cut off your fingers. Favorite knife, and we're gonna check for any ugliness. And the trick to this is to do thin slices. Now, there's 2 camps in my family on this. If I remember correctly, my grandmother used to do chunks, almost like a home fry. My grandfather, he used to do like slices, almost like potato chips. That's what I'm gonna go with. They cook a little faster and they crisp up a little bit more. So you just cut your potatoes in half, and then I would call these, I don't know, 1/4 inch or even maybe 1/8 inch slices. The main thing, keep them even. With all your food and your cooking, you wanna keep whatever you're cutting in even sizes. Even sizes cook at the same rate. If you cut a bunch of big chunks of something and a bunch of little chunks of something, and they're the same something, they're not gonna cook at the same rate. So your little chunks will be overcooked, your big chunks will be undercooked. It's almost impossible to get them both cooked correctly. Man down. We'll get that later. So half and slices. Montage number 2. No, it's not a montage. But speed up the video now. And stop. Potatoes are cut. And the next thing we're gonna cut, 1 onion, yellow onion. You can use whatever onion you like. I like the yellow onions. Peel it and put it into slices. This is what I would call a small to medium. You can use half a large or as much onion as you like. So fun little dad fact. When I grew up, my grandparents ended up coming and living with us. So they moved out of Newark, New Jersey, and they moved in with us. So that's how I learned how to cook. My grandmother lived with me and she taught me how to cook. And my grandfather, God bless him, my grandmother was a difficult woman, I guess would be a nice way to say. She loved breaking his you-know-whats. She was always riding that poor man. And in his later years, he ended up getting a hearing aid because he didn't hear too well. So he needed a hearing aid. And I still have vivid memories of this. It still cracks me up to this day. He would, at dinner, my grandmother would be laying into him about something he did. I don't know what it was, whatever it was. But you would see my grandfather go like this. And I always the first couple times, I was like, what's he doing? Why is he touching his ear? He was turning off his hearing aid. and he would just stare at her and smile. And he was in blissful ignorance because he couldn't hear a damn thing that that woman was saying. I loved my grandfather, man. He was something special, man. I miss that guy. But, so we're just gonna slice these onions up. And we are almost done with the prep for this dish. All right, we got our onions sliced. So 2 things left to do. One is we're gonna just add our little mixture. This is Dad's favorite spice shaker. Talk about it all the time. Just get one and do what I do. Take a teaspoon of onion powder. Take a teaspoon garlic powder. Pop them in your shaker. And now it's just a lot easier. I usually mix up a whole lot more of this, but I did the teaspoons so you guys know the exact amount for this recipe. Speaking of exact amounts for recipes, when I'm cooking my grandparents' food or my mom's food, there are not a lot of measurements. There's lots of pinch, dash, splash, sprinkles. And to convert that into a recipe people can follow, sometimes a little difficult. All right, we've got just about everything here other than hot dogs, just plain old cheapy hot dogs. I use about a half a package. That usually is what fits in the pan pretty well. And use your favorite brand, doesn't matter to me. I use whatever's BOGO at Publix. And we are just gonna chunk these up for later. I should probably get some sort of bowl or something to put this stuff in, huh? Be right back. I'm back. I got a bowl. Just throw all of the potatoes and the onions, because they go at the same time when we cook, in a bowl. And we'll use this bowl later because we have to remove these from the pan before you cook the hot dogs, because otherwise I like a little bit of a nice little char on the outside of my hot dog, color and texture. And you can't get that if the pan's all crowded with the potatoes and the onions. So these are gonna be cut up and used later. And this is just a chunk scenario, which is never really a good thing in most places, but in this one it's good. So I'm gonna say those are 1/2 inch chunks. And we are prepped. At this point, I'm gonna do a reset because we need the pan and everything for cooking. Movie magic, da-da-da-da-da, and bam, come on. I'm a magician, it's amazing. All right, I got my nice little induction cooktop. I did a video on this. Go ahead and check it out. I'll put a link somewhere. This thing's awesome. You can cook anywhere you want with it, and it's just portable. I've got my 10-inch high side skillet pan thing. It doesn't say. This is a 3-quart high-sided pan. That's what I'm gonna call it. That's what it sort of says. All right, to do this, you're gonna take and heat up your pan. And medium-high heat, not as blazing hot as you can get it, but you do need it hot. And just enough oil to coat the bottom of the pan. And I'm using olive oil. It's got a lower smoke point, but we're not frying, so it's not gonna be a problem. And we're gonna just go ahead and let this heat up a little bit. While it's heating up, let me tell you about something. I've been struggling with what to call you people over there. And in my Disney videos, I do those. I do parks and I shop at the outlets and show you guys what the outlets. Dad's a crazy person. I do all sorts of stuff other than cooking. And so I'll put some links. But in those, I decided to call everybody the DGT Alliance. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. There's the Rebel Alliance. So there's now the DGT Alliance. To be part of the DGT Alliance, I need you to go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell and do all of that. And you're gonna see a bunch of cool stuff coming up just for you guys. This oil should be almost heated up. We'll find out here in a second. I do the feel test. Nope, not hot enough. We'll come back in a second. One of the ways that you'll know that olive oil is up to temperature is it'll get this like shimmery look to it, and you'll start to see a tiny bit of smoke. Once you see that, you're ready to go and start frying whatever it is you're frying. We're not frying, we're more sauteing. Are you done yet? Are you hot yet? Ah, we have a bit of smoke. I've got my shimmery look. I'm gonna say that this is pretty much ready to go. Stage 1, potatoes and onions. Mix them up. This is where our shaker comes in. We're gonna go ahead and shake all that on there. I like using the shaker because I feel you get a little bit even distribution of the spices. You can just pour them in there if you want and stir. I won't make too much fun of you. Make sure any potatoes you have that you sliced are fully broken up. If they're not broken up, they will not cook right. And you're just gonna stir these a little bit. And then we're gonna cover them for however many minutes it takes till these are almost cooked and brown. I honestly don't know because my mother's instructions that she wrote down for my grandfather's recipe say, cook until done. So we'll find out. I'll put the whole time in there because I'll know, but these are the hassles of cooking old school family recipes. Every once in a while, you're gonna wanna go ahead and open this up and stir it because otherwise you're gonna get browned potatoes on the bottom and raw potatoes on the top. If you notice it starting to burn, go ahead and lower your heat. I've got this on 380 on the induction cooktop. I'd say that's about a medium high. I think it goes almost up to 480, almost 500. So I use it's a fish spatula actually, but they're great. They're little metal spatulas, and since I use almost all stainless steel pans, I use this spatula because I can scrape the bottom of the pan, and that helps it from getting too much burnt stuff on it. If you need to add some extra oil, you can. The reason we're cooking with the top on or the cover on is to kind of steam the potatoes a little bit so that they cook. If you try to just saute them, they're not gonna be cooked on the inside, unfortunately. Remember, this video is the hashtag GAMEDAYBUFFET. This is gonna be my Game Day Buffet selection, submission, something. And this was invented by our good friends over at the Kitche Queers. Great channel. That guy has the best voice in the business. I'm telling you, go watch a video. He has got like the man with the golden voice thing. He should be doing voiceovers. It's awesome. Plus, he's a good cook. We're getting close here. See that nice crispy brownness? We want to get that crispiness on as many of the potatoes as we can. Potatoes are done. Just a tiny bit more oil. You don't really even need to coat the bottom of the pan. Hot dogs. And hot dogs are pre-cooked, in case you didn't know that. So this is a color and texture thing mainly. These are just about ready. And at this point, I'm gonna turn the heat down to a medium, because if you add eggs to too hot of a pan, I don't like the texture you get with it. We're gonna add our potatoes back. Give everything a nice stir. Get it all nice and incorporated. And it's egg time, baby. Let's give that another little whip up to make sure that it's nice and mixed. Cover that for a minute or two to let those eggs start setting up. Stir and mix. If you did it right, you've got a bunch of little brown bits that aren't burnt bits, they're just browned. And those start mixing into the egg. And this is why I said the crispiness isn't as important. It's more of a color issue that you're going for with those potatoes, because they're gonna become non-crispy when you add the egg. And at this point, we can raise the temperature back up to medium high. These are almost done, man. At that point, I'm gonna call it. This is done. You can eat this just like this. Pop it in a plate and you're done, you're great, meal. Or you can make what my grandfather would call a Dickie Dee. And that's what I'm gonna make. I got a roll, I'm gonna plate this up. So a little bit more movie magic in 3, 2, 1. Why did I do it that way? That would have been 1, 2, 3. In 3, 2, 1. Bing! There you go. There are 2 schools to this. You eat it straight, or you go ketchup. As a kid, this was my jam. I try it straight first. Oh. Seriously? Just brings me back to my childhood. The egg and the hot dog with that potato in there on the soft roll. It's fantastic. I think it's better with ketchup. I'm still a kid, but this brings me back to my childhood with my grandfather. He was my buddy, man. Him and we palled around. I hung out with him. He taught me how to do woodworking and all kinds of things in life, and boxing and how to defend myself, and I really miss that, man. Sammy Jiggs, you're up there. I miss you, man. I miss you, buddy. But I'm gonna eat this with some ketchup. Not a lot, just a little. Oh, come on, man. So that's Dad's #GameDayBuffet video. Sammy Jiggs, potatoes, eggs, and hot dogs on a roll. The most fantastic food you will ever have in your life. I guarantee it. Maybe not, but for me it is. Please, if you like my videos, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and become part of the DGT Alliance. We are fighting boring vlogs everywhere in the universe. I would love it if you'd join me on my little adventure. So Dad doesn't do outros, so that's it. For more recipes and videos, visit dadgotthis.com. To be sure you don't miss anything, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the damn bell. Now, I did this wrong, apparently.
Come on, you have to do it. It was a double dog dare. I mean, those are the rules.